A couple of weeks ago, I went to a show, an actual in-the-theater musical with an orchestra, which I would like to do more often than I do, but I was settling into my seat, and there's a moment where the lights are still up and the people are talking, but you can hear the musicians take their place in the orchestra pit, and they start tuning their instruments, and then there is just this beautiful wash of sound, and the lights dim, and the audience silences, and the orchestra harmonizes into one, and then there is this brief pause of silent anticipation. And it's like this moment right here as we start the back nine.
This is the back nine with Dennis Williams and Josh Mora.
Dennis, my friend, I have that kind of anticipation because today we start season 4, baby.
We are making the turn into season 4.
We are, and you are making it with, how do I even begin to describe this shirt? There's a skull, it's psychedelic, it says slightly stupid. I mean, are you warning people with that label on the shirt?
No, anybody who knows the music world knows that Slightly Stupid is one of the great reggae rock bands out there these days.
Are they awesome. Reggae or dancehall?
They're reggae.
More reggae? Okay.
Yeah, reggae for sure. And my daughter gave me this for Father's Day.
Nice.
And I'm going to be seeing them in a concert soon. And I just thought I'd wear it to celebrate my daughter who gave it to me. And a great band, one of my favorite. I should say that Rebecca, my fiance, is the one who really got me into reggae. And boy, are those fun. I will tell you, on my back nine journey, one of my great joys, and Rebecca and I share this, which is why we have so much fun together, is live music. Yeah. Any kind of live music, whether it's a small dive bar and one guy playing acoustic guitar, or it's Kenny playing a stadium with 80,000 people and everything in between, right? So I just love live music, and it's part of my back nine. I can not get enough of shows, and I know you love it too. You share that with your daughter now.
I'm wearing something that is reminiscent of that.
Yes, your Hook'em Horns.
Hook'em Horns, Texas, because I went with Julie, my younger daughter, to Austin. Every year we go see a live show in a city she's never been to. She's 20, and we see the show and explore the city all at once. And we went to Austin to see Noah Kahan, who has had, it is the summer of Noah Kahan in many ways. He's playing so many festivals. And the best part of the concert itself was when he walked, we were sitting at the back row of the first half on the floor. And so when he walked to his second stage, he walked right past us. And on his way back, Julie stuck her hand out and he slapped her hand, and I got it on film, and she was over the moon. And it's just so neat to see your kid that happy. And this was definitely her pick. I like Noah Kahan. I've come to like him because of her recommendation. We talked in the 19th hole about learning from our kids.
Yeah.
Right? So I've learned to like this guy. She discovered him, and I really like his music. He's terrific. A New Englander, by the way. He's from New Hampshire, Vermont, I think. But to see your kid happy in that moment and to just be able to witness that, when you see them becoming adults and having their own interests in live music, and she has since gone to see a couple more concerts this summer. I may see another one with her later this summer in August, so we'll see how that goes. But that appreciation of live music at a time in our lives when we don't have all that much to share, we're different people, we definitely share music.
Well, I should say around the same time, I went to CMA Fest, so I got thrown right into real, I mean, you talk about amazing live music opportunity. It's 4 days in Nashville. I had never been to Nashville. Thankfully, I hadn't been to Nashville before I decided to move back to the East Coast because I probably lived there. That's how much I loved that town. It's just a great experience. I mean, every bar you go into has 3 floors of live music, not just one person in the bar. It's an incredible place. And I just really enjoyed the experience of CMA Fest and all the music.
And just last Wednesday, I saw Cheap Trick, Journey, and Def Leppard. And
I wanted so bad.
Yeah, right. It's so much. It's so much fun to see what they can still do and to hear they're playing the hits, right? And my girlfriend had never seen a live rock concert until about a year and a half ago. I took her to her first live. Well, she grew up in a cult. You know this because you know her, but not really. It's just a joke. But to all the cult members who are listening, but we laugh about this. But so it's just, right, and so we share that too, right?
Wow, that's great. Really You're able to introduce her to that. That's
Bruce Springsteen was her first live concert.
Oh, that's a good one. If you're going to go to one, that's pretty darn good.
We'll be right back. Listeners, you know I've been talking about Pete Learning for a few weeks now. Pete is an out-of-the-box training department that helps companies of all sizes reach their company training initiatives. So picture this. Your company leaders hold all kinds of institutional knowledge, But it takes time for them to create and manage the training that it takes to share that knowledge and other company objectives with their employees. And that's time away from what those leaders do best. That is where Pete comes in. Pete uses artificial intelligence, AI, to create robust, threaded training curriculum quickly and inexpensively. Put simply, Pete is an indispensable partner for any growing company. It is win-win at every level. So visit Pete Learning at pete.com. That is PETE.com.
Three Bridges is proud to be a sponsor of the Back Nine. My business partner and I founded the company in 2019 with the simple premise that we wanted to be the best storytellers for your brand. Let's be real here. We say bring your brand to life because if you don't have video, your brand is either dead or dying. We recently completed a project with a huge resort out in Colorado Springs called Garden of the Gods. We produced multiple videos that I am personally very proud of, and more importantly, they are thrilled with them. If you want to see our work, check out 3 Bridges Consulting on our YouTube page. That's the number 3 Bridges Consulting on YouTube, and see how we can breathe life into your brand.
All right, back to the show.
Well, yeah, that's good about live music. We're talking, Making the Turns all about looking ahead to, we looked back a little bit on what we've been doing lately, but let's look ahead to this season. We've got a mix of celebrities. Actually, let's start with music. We've got a French horn player from the Met, the principal horn at the Met, who happens to be my brother-in-law on this season, with his perspective on somebody he's just making the turn to the Back Nine himself, actually.
I don't want to spoil any of the episodes here, but when you're talking to someone like that, he's a virtuoso. I mean, a true virtuoso. Crazy. I mean, to be the top, that's the top tippy top pinnacle of a profession. And and he's so humble. It was just a neat conversation.
Yeah, if you want to hear, and again, in his prime, this probably doesn't fit anymore, but growing up and when he first became a part of the family, the way I described to my friends, because all I did was ever talk about sports, and the only way I could make it make sense to people was I just called him the Tiger Woods of French horn playing. The Tiger Woods of French horn, top of his profession in the instrument that he plays. That's the best way I can describe it.
Do you think people remember who Tiger Woods was anymore? I mean, maybe Scotty Scheffler, he's more relevant.
Yeah.
Because they're both at their peak at the same time.
Yeah.
To do a golf thing.
I think that's right.
And speaking of guys at their peaks, we have a couple of celebrities that are coming up on this season. We have a 9-time Pro Bowl NFL player. Mm-hmm. Fantastic guest. Because he's so much more than those accolades. He's just a great person with great insights about how he's transitioned into his post-playing life. We have one of, if not the greatest sportscaster of our era. Also a guy who made an incredible pivot, was ahead of the curve of where the industry was going. He's terrific. So as we continue to build on this idea of having a mix of celebrities, people who have really accomplished and gone to the very top of their profession, and resources, and we can talk about that in a minute, who our resources are going to be, and other people who have relatable stories, I think it's shaping up to be as great as seasons 2 and 3 really were. I think this one's going to be even better. Yeah,
the other thing we're going to do, and we talked a little bit about this in the 19th hole, is continue to be practical, continue to have takeaways that people can use in their everyday lives in the Back Nine. We're going to talk a little more about my integrative wellness journey with some folks out at Strata Med in Colorado Springs. Josh, I know you have a lot of this in your world now. I should say that since this show started, I'm on 119 straight days of meditation without missing a day. You know how Insight Timer keeps that track for you. So my goal is to sort of never miss a day. So it's part of that transition and that change. Even if I only have 2 minutes, I make sure that I do it every single day now. I used to miss days and days at a time, and I'm committed to with very strong discipline to not missing a day.
2 stories about that. One, I was out west a couple of weeks ago, and I had a really early morning flight out, and I didn't have time to meditate before I left to get on the plane. So finding the space, whether it's on the plane or when you get where you're going, even though I normally like to do it to start my day, just having it there. And then also, I used to go to this yoga studio that was near my house, and there's all kinds of aspects of yoga, and by the way, we should get into that at some point. We have a guest who do that. But the particular yoga that I would do is yin. So it's a very restorative kind of a yoga. It's a lot of deep stretching. It's 90 minutes long. I have a fabulous teacher. But I stopped for a while, in part because there was an accident at their facility where a car drove through the window nobody was there when it happened, and they had to move and locate. But I finally got to the new studio, which is great. And I realized, going back for the first time, literally just yesterday, how much I missed it. I was trying to pinpoint that I felt like there was something missing. And that was it. I don't know that I'm still going to be able to go every Sunday morning like I used to. My life is a little bit different than it was when I was in that space. But to try to find that and integrate that into my overall plan going forward.
Well, one of the things that I'm doing is, and we can get into this more too, is, and this actually came from Jim Rushton in season 1, is I'm doing some meditation and learning about Stoicism. I love the practice of Stoicism. I think that idea that it really, I mean, I'm going to butcher this because there's books that have been written about it and philosophers that have been talking about it for hundreds of years. But what I will say is the very simplistic way about Stoicism is that you pay attention to things you can control and don't pay attention to the things you can't control. I mean, that's really how, if I was going to describe it in the simplest of terms, that is what it is. And I'm really focused on doing meditations around Stoicism.
That's such an interesting point. There's so many things that have come up lately where I can see other people struggling with that exact thing. And I think part of the journey into meditation is not only what it does for you, but the awakening and the awareness of how others are acting and being able to identify it like that. And so I'm seeing somebody who is trying to control information that they can't control. They're uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. And part of Stoicism is being okay with, I don't know the answer to that just yet, or I don't have that information, and it's going to be okay. Because if you start to fret about that, you start to fret about so many things that may never come to pass. And if you're a Stoic, you let that stuff go and you focus on the things that you can impact.
Right.
That's really healthy.
One of the very basic examples that I heard very recently was we can't control is bad drivers. There will always be bad drivers. So the best time to practice Stoicism is when you're on the road, because you can't do anything about it, right? Like you can't, and you can't change it if they're a bad driver, right? So that's when you kind of have to take a deep breath and be like, control what you can control right now.
I love what you just did. You took this centuries-old philosophy and applied it to something that is very germane to where you live and 8 lanes of traffic on I-95. Exactly. That was fantastic.
Exactly. Well, because I have to literally practice it every day
down here for sure.
Without slamming on my horn or swearing at somebody or giving them the finger. So
that's right.
I try to. Stoicism is very important to me in South Florida.
You might need to schedule yourself just a little bit more loosely. That would help with. That's one part of it you can control. So you're not racing to get to the studio like I did today.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, excited. I think that puts a wrap on Making the Turn. We'll get ready for episode 1, which we can say is that seasoned sportscaster who's his own brand and very good friend of yours.
He's become a very good friend, yes. And very impactful in my professional life. So it's really exciting. I hope, audience, that you are as excited as we are. Maybe you will be as you see all of the guests. We're very excited about what we have built to this point, and we just want you to know we have lots of other ideas that are going to grow the Back Nine podcast from here, and it's so much in thanks to you and in thanks to our producer Janine and all of the team at Stella Mix Studios and Pixelworks Studios. So we're very excited about what's coming up in season 4.
Let's make the turn and head to tee it off on season 4 of the Back Nine.
Hey, listeners, we just wanted to thank you for being a part of our community to date. We love the feedback you've given us to this point as we continue to build the Back Nine above and beyond what we're already doing.
Yeah, help us by following, subscribing, and or downloading and sharing with your friends and family as well. We have lots of plans for how we can continue to provide good perspective and fantastic resources for all of you. So join us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or your preferred platform, and know that we are incredibly grateful for your support.
Yeah, we are. We look forward to seeing you in person soon, hint, hint, and knowing that you're out there making the loop with us every week on the Back Nine.
If you need a benefit auctioneer for your next fundraising gala, hire Eric Goodman, who's broken fundraising records all over the country. Josh and I have known Eric for over 30 years, and he's one of the most passionate, energetic, and hardworking people we know. Eric's consulting strategies and successful fundraising techniques is why he raised $1 million in 10 minutes at a recent event. Visit yourfundraisingteam.com to see a video of his work, testimonials, and then book with Eric today so your nonprofit can have a record-breaking night.
The Back Nine is meticulously curated by Janine Stella and recorded at Pixelworks Studios in Delray Beach, Florida.